Welcome traders and welcome to all of my students in today's weekly sectoral analysis. Currently we are looking at the Nifty spot chart and I'll start with the monthly time frame as usual. What we can see over here is the price is an uptrend. Yes, RSI is at almost at 76, but other than that I don't see anything negative in this particular chart as of now. If I go to the weekly time frame, even over here, I have no issues with the price whatsoever because price is trading above the resistance zone. What has happened, the recent correction, the recent gap down on Friday was actually due to what has been happening in the daily chart. So I assume this is just a short-term correction, nothing more than that. The first thing evident on the chart is that price was trading almost near a short-term resistance, which was at 16,675, 16,673 thereabouts. RSI was trading almost at 77.82. And one more thing, Bollinger Bands, if I just add over here, you can see that the Bollinger Bands as an indicator had expanded. So this was a clear sign that volatility had shot up. And generally when this happens, then some sort of contraction in volatility does occur, and what we got out of this was a gap down. Now, where will this sell-off, the short-term sell-off, will get hauled or it will get arrested? It's difficult to say, but what I can see is 16,250 to approx 16,100. This entire band, 16,250 to 16,100. This entire band seems to be a decently strong support for the market. Probably in next few days, we'll have to watch closely what the price action turns out on the chart and then take the further decision what's going to be the next step in the market. Do not jump onto trades carelessly, wait patiently, see what's happening in the market and then take the trades. Let's go to the banking index. In the banking index, nothing much has changed. It continues to remain bullish in the monthly time frame, and in the weekly time frame, once again, it's facing resistance from the Fibonacci retracement. 76.80% Fibonacci retracements is continuously giving problems for this particular index. And as usual, until and unless 36,300, 36,400 level is not going to be surpassed on a weekly closing basis, we will not see any big move on the upside in the banking index. In the daily chart, if we check properly, then we are at short-term support. This seems to be a decent support, right? This is a decent support. So anywhere between 34,950 to 34,850, this 100-point band is a decent support. We need to be seeing this band properly. In case if price closes below this, then we will see a little bit of more selling coming up. But other than that, there are no hints as of now what can happen in the banking. It continues to remain range bound. Be very, very careful while taking up trades in the banking index. Now, private banks, if you check properly, this is the banking index, this is the private bank index. Both of them look exceptionally similar. If I go to the monthly time frame, again, the charts are looking very, very similar, my friends. So basically, private banking index is still in an uptrend in the monthly time frame. In the weekly time frame, once again, it continues to face resistance from the 61.80% Fibonacci retracement. In the same zone is creating problems for this particular index until and unless we do not have a higher close from this zone and a follow-through buying coming up. I don't see any sort of fireworks happening in this particular index as well. And we do have a high wave candle on the daily time frame chart, and I assume that this could have been made at a support level. Right, I'll replot it once more. Yes, here we check We are at the 78.60% Fibonacci retracement. So 18,000, 18,040. This seems to be a decent support for the private banking index. In case if we have a close below this level, maybe some sort of weakness can creep in this particular index also. PSU banking index. I've been repeating about this index since long that this is the monthly time frame chart, and this resistance band, until and unless this resistance band will not be surpassed, it will continue to haunt the PSU banking index and will continue to face resistance in this zone. So we need a very, very big powerful move and the big green candle to close above this zone, which is I think between 2560 and 2720. Until and unless this zone is not crossed on a monthly closing basis, I don't think so there will be a very big move in the PSU banking index. Now the trend in the weekly time frame currently seems to be flat, but we are at an important support. Now 2250 is a decent support, and the reason for that is in the weekly chart we are at a 50% retracement, and if you cross check the daily chart, the same level is a support, is a Fibonacci extension. So any level which is present in the daily as well as in the weekly chart as a support, generally that sort of level comes out to be a very strong support. So basically 2250 is a strong support for the PSU banking index. Even the RSI is almost oversold. So if in case there is a bounce back in overall markets, then watch this space closely. We may also have a decent bounce back in this particular index. It may or may not be short-lived, but yes, one small bounce can be expected. Please don't jump on this sector and start buying aggressively. That particular bounce back, will it be a bottom out or just a short-term sharp bounce back? Only time will tell. Please don't jump onto trade carelessly. Metals. Now, if we cross-check metals in the monthly time frame, this seems to be the first candle which is turning up to be a red candle after almost 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Obviously, this candle is not complete because today is 22nd of August and still there is a week to go before we hit the month-end candle. So until and unless that does not happen, it's very early to comment on that. But as of now, it seems some sort of selling is coming up in the metal index. Now, over here, we have a doji. Over here, we have a hanging man, and then we have a big red candle. So this particular sign is not very good for the bulls. But in the daily chart, if you check properly, we are at a support. And even this correction started with a negative divergence. You can see a higher high over here. You can see a lower high in RSI. And then we did see a drop in the price. So we are at a decent support over here. This is 5270. This particular level seems to be a decent support because this is the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement, and also it is also at the previous high. Sorry, this is the previous high, and this support is coming up at the similar levels. So there may be a short-term bounce back, but will it be a short-term bottom out or not? Only time will tell. Be very, very patient and then initiate trades. And in case if you're initiating any trades in the metal index, be sure they are very, very, very short-term. Do not go for a very big positional trade with a very big stop loss. I don't think that will work out. Yes, if you are holding a previous trade or something from a very lower area, be careful of trailing your stop losses. Auto index is looking very much interesting in the daily time frame. It continues to be in a uptrend, but the candles are once again extremely negative. In the weekly time frame, we can see clearly trend is flat. In the daily time frame, we can see the trend is down, but it is at a decent support. I have been commenting on this since last 2 weeks. 10,100 to 9900. This is a strong support for this particular index, and price has closed in that particular zone itself. Now, will it be surpassed or not? Only time will tell. In case if price closes below this zone, maybe for 1 or 2 days, we will see some sort of sell-off happening even in this particular index. So be very, very careful from the auto index. Okay. CNX Finance. If you see properly in the in the monthly time frame, trend seems to be pretty strong. In the weekly time frame, I will apply the Fibonacci retracement. What we can see is the price has sensed some sort of resistance coming up over here. But apart from that, I have no issues with the overall state of trend of CNX Finance in the weekly time frame. In the daily time frame, I presume we might have hit short-term resistance. Yes, there you go. You can see that the prices were facing some sort of resistance from this Fibonacci 161.80% Fibonacci extension, and due to this we had a short-term sell-off. Now we need to find out where is a strong support coming up. So basically 17,040 to somewhere around 16,850, 16,880. This entire zone seems to be a strong support for the finance sector. In case if price corrects further, and then if you have a turnaround from here, try looking for decent risk reward trades, but they should be short-lived. They should be swing trades and not position trades. IT sector continues to remain in an uptrend, continues to remain extremely overstretched, not interested whatsoever in new positional trades. Yes, if I'm holding older ones, I'll be very careful about my trading stop losses. RSI has shorted now almost till 88.59. This is extremely overbought. You can see prices are way above from the moving average. So be very careful. In the weekly time frame, you can see even over here, the RSI is well above 80. So basically prices are overbought in the weekly and the monthly time frame. Now, if I apply the Fibonacci extension over here in the daily time frame, once again, you can see prices have surpassed the 423.60% Fibonacci extension. All right. So what I'm trying to say over here is price is overstretched, and this particular candle is a shooting star. This candle is not exactly an inverted hammer, but yes, some sort of sell-off, some sort of selling is coming up at higher levels. Kindly be extremely careful about your open long positions in the IT index, and be sure that you're trailing your stop losses on your open long positions. Pharma. Last week I had told probably some sort of selling is coming up, and if you apply the Fibonacci extension over here, right? This was not due to the monthly time frame because we don't have any negative divergence, neither we are at very strong resistance. But if you cross-check the weekly time frame, we were seeing triple negative divergence coming up in the RSI, and even we were trading at a Fibonacci extension. So again, my stand on this particular index is very clear. Avoid trading in this particular index as of now. Wait and watch what happens. We are trading near important supports. This is an important support because this was a previous high. See this level properly, 13,041, and even this particular level, 13,000 level. So anywhere between 13,400 to 13,000 levels, this entire zone is a strong support zone. Once if prices start bouncing back from here, and if you have any sort of decent trades coming up, then only jump in. But be very careful, because what I have been seeing that apart from one or two stocks, not all are performing very nicely. If you see Sun Pharma is one of the stocks which have been showing strength in this index. And if you see any sort of trade coming up over here, you can initiate, but do not jump onto the trade. Do not go and just buy on Monday. Don't do that thing. Wait patiently, wait your system to give the signals, only then enter. FMCG index is in a strong uptrend, thanks to the stock Hindustan Unilever, which has been going up pretty nicely. And I can see that some sort of resistance is coming up in the FMCG index, which is at 13,107 levels. So once this level comes up, if you see some sort of profit booking, short-term profit booking coming in, I don't think one should be surprised. Overall trend is still up, but some sort of profit booking at higher level can be expected. Not a lot, but yes, somewhat. MIDCAP index. Now MIDCAP index, if you see the monthly time frame, after almost, I should say, the October 2020, there hasn't been even one single candle which has been in red color. This is first candle in the monthly time frame almost after October 2020, which is showing the red color. But this is not the month end as yet. We will wait patiently. Hopefully by next week, the picture will be clear. But it is clear some sort of selling is coming up. If you remember properly, I think a couple of weeks back, I had clearly told that negative divergence is coming up in the mid-cap index. So some sort of profit booking is possible. And we saw some sort of decent profit booking coming up. And now if, let me go to the daily chart. So this is a decent support. In case if we close below this particular level, 26,990, or maybe even this candle, I would take actually the low of this candle, 26,800. In case if we close below 26,800, then we will have some more sell-off coming up over here in this particular index, and prices may hit somewhere around 26,123 levels. All right. So I hope this weekly sectoral analysis did help you. Stay safe and trade wisely.